Hi everybody, it's Program Ranger Shea, and we are going to do a story or a couple stories and a craft with constellations today. So constellations are like drawings in the sky during the night with stars. So over the years, many different cultures have created constellations and little pictures out of the stars. Today, we are going to read two different tales about the constellations, the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper. So during the summertime in the Northern Hemisphere, so if you're in North America, then oftentimes in the summer you can see these really well. These two are my favorites because I can find them really easy. I learned about them as a kid, and I hope that you will enjoy hearing the story of the Big and Little Dipper. So these, this is what you see in the sky. I kind of highlighted the dippers here, the different stars that create the dipper with more white. They don't stand out as much. They're a little bit brighter, but you can see the shape in the sky. And what people did was they took those, let's see, and yep, okay, so then they made little bears out of them. That's what they saw in the sky. So there you can see, it's kind of like the picture was this way of the stars. And you see a big bear, and can you see the dipper? Here we go, and it's dipping, kind of like a ladle or a big spoon to dip into the water. And then here's the little bear up here. That's the Little Dipper. So we're going to read some stories about that, and then we are going to make some fun things out of toilet paper tubes. So in the discussion, there is a link to how to print, the link to print off constellation circles. That's not the word, but patterns. Okay, and what at the end of the story we're going to build this. But what I made already was, look, which one is it? Oh, I'm going to turn it over so you can see. Here's the Big Dipper, and if you look through it with light on the other side, so I'm going to put it up to my camera, and I'm going to put a flashlight. What I tried at first was putting a flashlight this way and shining it on the wall. For me, that did not work. What worked was for me to look at a light through it, and I can see it. So I'm going to put that up to the camera real quick and then do a flashlight. Do you see? That's what we're going to make at the end of the story. So for that, you will need a toilet paper tube. It's okay if there's a little bit of toilet paper on it. I couldn't get all the toilet paper off for me. You're going to need the little printout. I had to print mine at 150% to get it to fit larger. What happened when I did it at 100 is it was really, really small on my toilet paper tube. Then you're going to need some other darker paper to glue it to, and we're going to cut a circle out and put it on our toilet paper tube. You're going to need some tape, which there we go. You can either use Scotch tape, or I've got packing tape right here you could use, as well as glue, scissors, something that's circular like a cup that's a little bit bigger. Do you see how this is wider? Let's see. See how it's wider than the toilet paper tube? That's what you're going to want. It's a circle that's wider than your toilet paper tube. And then you're going to want some kind of a push pin. So here's a push pin I have to push in where those stars are on your pattern, and then the light will go through. So let's read two tales about constellations. So this doesn't have a whole lot of pictures. I'm going to go ahead and read, and then we'll show you the picture of each one. Okay. So the Big Dipper is, I'm reading, I guess I should start from the beginning. So this is a really cool book that I found. It's called The Kid's Book of the Night Sky. It tells stories, but it also has some really cool activities all throughout it. Let's find one. Like to print off a planisphere chart, things like that you can do with your kids this summer. And summertime is, I think, the best time to go out and look at the stars. So the Big Dipper is easy to spot overhead on a spring evening. And because it's the most recognized star grouping in the Northern Hemisphere, there are many Big Dipper stories and legends. So this is Callisto the bear. As in many cultures, the Greeks, so the people in Greece, saw the Big Dipper as a big part of a large constellation shaped like a bear. Remember, so we saw, here's the dipper part of the bear, and then there's a few other stars in the big bear. According to the legend, the all-powerful god Zeus fell in love with Callisto, a beautiful huntress. A huntress is somebody who goes hunting that's female, so a huntress. Zeus's wife Hera was so jealous that she changed Callisto into a bear. Now the young huntress was prey, right? She wasn't a predator, bear. A prey is an animal or something that other peoples go after and maybe eat, okay? So she turned that huntress into prey, lurking in the woods, hiding from hunters, right? She doesn't want to get hunted. One day, Callisto heard her son Arca's voice and raced to greet him. Terrified by the sight of a roaring she-bear on her hind legs, Arca raised his bow and took aim. So her son is aiming his bow right at his mom, but he doesn't know it's his mom because she's a bear, right? At the last second, Zeus saved Callisto by changing Arcas into a little bear. He swung them both by their tails and flung them up into the sky. Since then, mother and cub have been united as Ursa Major, that's the big bear, and Ursa Minor, that's the baby bear. Hera, furious that Zeus still cared for her rival, banished the bears into the cold North Pole among the constellations that never set. So actually you can see those all the time in the Northern Hemisphere, not just at certain times, but I like to look at them in the summer. Another story, so here's the pictures. Let me try and zoom in. Wrong one. Here we go. There they are, Zeus throwing the bears up into the sky. Now we're going to read the water dipper. That one is a Philippine folktale, and that highlights the dipper in the Big Dipper. Sometimes terrible times fell on the village of the poor woman and her son. The hot weather dried up the wells. A well is a place in the ground where you can get water. So it was so dry that all the water, even in the well, dried up. Because people became weak and sickly, and the woman lay in her bed gasping. She begged her child for water, even a few drops, just to wet her tongue. The boy took a water dipper made from a coconut shell and ran from the house, but everywhere was dry, and he became discouraged. Looking to the sky, the boy asked to be guided to water. Instantly, water gushed from the ground where the boy stood. He filled the dipper, gave thanks to the heavens, and started for home. An old man called out, asking for a sip. The boy stopped and he let the old man drink and dashed off towards home. In his hurry, the boy tripped and fell, spilling the water and splashing the dipper. He sat down and sobbed. Then, looking to heaven again, he asked once more for water. Where he had spilled the dipper, a well appeared. Shouting with excitement, the boy called the other villagers to come and drink their fill. He borrowed another coconut shell and filled it with water for his mother. When he looked to the heavens again, his broken dipper was being lifted skyward and turned into the stars of the Big Dipper. So in the Philippines, that's how they believe that the Big Dipper came to be. It was the boy's dipper because he asked for water for his mother and the villagers. Pretty cool story. So those are two stories of how the Big Dipper and Little Dipper, or Ursa Major and Ursa Minor, came to be. Now we're going to make some constellation viewers. Let's look at these constellations one more time that we were talking about. Here's Ursa Major and Ursa Minor up in the sky. There's the big mama bear and the little baby bear. And then here they are. Now when you look up, you have to use your imagination to see the bears, right? You don't actually see the bears. You just kind of look at the images and then remember that those are the bears, or Ursa Major and Ursa Minor. So first thing you're going to do, let me move my camera down so you can see my hands and my table. And let me make sure there's no comments. I don't see any. Good. Okay. All right. So I have here, here's the finished one. I'm going to take a toilet paper tube. And I already cut out the Ursa Major one out of my, what is this called? My printout. All right. I'm going to do a different one. I'm going to do, let's see. I'm going to do Hercules because I like Hercules from Disney. And that's kind of where they got that story, was from Hercules, the Greek story of Hercules amongst the stars. So I'm going to cut out one. You guys can cut out whichever one you want. You'll just make a, and you can make a whole bunch. One thing I might do is write on the side of my toilet paper tube what constellation it is so I can remember. So I'm going to cut this out. So I've got this done. There's my little circle. Now I'm going to take my larger circle. I found it's a gum container. I just needed something that was circular and wider than my toilet paper tube. So I'm going to stick that on my black paper. You can use just whatever color paper. I like to use black because that's kind of the night sky color, right? And then you're going to need a pen or a pencil to draw around your larger circle. And you're going to cut that out. I'm going to cut along my circle. And I'm a fast cutter. It's okay if you take a little bit longer to do your cutting. I've been cutting for a long time. I'm going to move that. And then you're going to take your toilet paper tube and put it in the middle of your black circle. So it's going to look like this. And you're going to draw around your toilet paper tube and mark the width of your and diameter of your toilet paper tube. That I didn't mark that very well. I'm going to redo it. I think my toilet paper on the tube is getting in the way. All right, now, I don't know if you can see this very well. You see my circle that I drew on inside of my other circle? You're going to now take your scissors and you're going to cut little slits up to the line. Let me do a couple real quick, and then I'll show you what I'm doing. Okay, so here's where it is. And then I'm cutting it up to the line so I can fold the little flaps I'm making down. See that? Okay, I'm going to keep going around. And it's okay if I'm faster than you. The cool thing about Facebook Live is that once it's all done, you can go back and watch me and press pause. That's kind of a neat thing. Normally, you can't pause people. But on Facebook, once it's recording, you can pause me. And then have me slow down, and then you can even rewind me or fast forward me. All right, so I made little slits, cut little slits up to my circle. And now I'm going to fold all the way around, fold my flaps down. Hi, Lacey and Andrew. See you guys saying hi to me. All right, I have folded all my flaps. Oops, I want to fold that one a little bit more. Flaps down. Now it kind of looks almost like, if I turned it this way, like a cupcake wrapper or something that you would put cupcakes in, but smaller, right? And now I'm going to take my pattern and I'm going to glue it in the middle of my circle. Okay, so I'm going to use a glue stick because that's what I have. If you have like white school glue or whatever, that works too. Okay, I'm going to glue it right in the middle. and push it down real good. Now I've got, it looks like this at this point. Okay, now you're going to stick it on the top, and so you may need a helper. So I had my 9-year-old help me with this one yesterday, and he needed a little bit of my help getting the tape on. And actually, because I forgot my Scotch tape over by my other table, I'm going to use packaging tape. So I'm going to make some strips to tape down. So while I'm doing that, whoop, be careful with your scissors. Program Ranger Shea was not careful just now. All right, I just made 2 strips that are closer to the size of Scotch tape. All right, so what you want to do is center that around, and then you're going to push your flaps. See how they're up right now? I'm going to push it down on the side of the toilet paper tube, and then I'm going to tape. You can tape around, you can tape up and down, however it works for you. And you're going to tape all the flaps down around your toilet paper tube. So here I go, trying my best. All right, here's one section I did. Do you see how I taped it down? And then the other side, the other flaps I still have to do. This one, I used lots of pieces of tape because me and my son did it together. All right, I'm going to keep going. Oh. Now I'm going to need some more tape. I'm going to cut my tape so it is not so wide. Whoop. How you guys doing with yours? This is, I think, the trickiest part, is doing this part, is trying to hold these little flaps down at the same time that you're trying to tape them down. Ha 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 ha. I think I got most of mine down. Yes. All right, I'm going to put a little bit more glue. Mine wants to pop up. All right, now you're going to, once you're done with that, you're going to take your thumbtack. We are behind. That's all right, Bullock. You can just keep watching and catch up later. I'm really fast because I practice. I practice this ahead. All right, so you're going to take your thumbtack once your things are all taped down, and you're going to find your circles. Remember, this is Hercules. So let's see if we can figure out how Hercules is. I think this is him right here. So this is like his belt, and these are his legs that go down. It's really hard to do this backwards on Facebook. There's his legs and like his arms sticking up here. So there's Hercules. So I'm going to find the little holes, and I'm going to stick the pin in. I kind of hold the paper taut or tight, okay? And I stick the pin in. Oh, it's kind of hard to stick in there. And then you're going to kind of swirl it around and make that bigger. Sometimes you might have to do a couple pokes into that black, because you want that black hole to be a little bit big so you can let that light in. If it's just the width of one poke, you're not going to let the light in. So what I'm doing is I'm sticking it in and I'm kind of going around in circles and circles and making it wider. And I'm also sometimes poking, I like extra pokes. So can you see I've done one, I don't know if you can see that, but I've done one so far. All right, I'm going to keep going. Poke. Oh, be careful with these tacks and the scissors, right? They're a tool, not a toy. Here I am kind of smushing it around. You guys can tell me in the comments which constellation you're doing for your constellation viewer. And then you can always later upload pictures in the comments of your finished constellation viewers. I would love to see them. I'm going to do my third hole. Run around. I'm I'm gonna poke it some more, try and widen it. All right, so I have done 3 holes so far, and I'm gonna keep going. This one has 7 holes, so I am halfway there. I'm on my 4th hole. So I'm kind of poking it through, and that's why you need that other piece of paper to make it thicker. I use kind of a thick cardstock. I didn't talk about that. I used a thick cardstock. You could use construction paper or just regular paper. Regular paper seems to rip a little bit more, so I should have brought that up. All right, now I'm on my 5th one, poking it through, trying to keep my fingers from getting poked. Round, around, around. Round, around, around. Oop, 2 more stars. So each of these black dots represents a star in the sky, right? And then what they do is they kind of connect them with their imagination into a shape. Let's see. That one. Poke. Poke. I'm on my last one. I'm poking out my last star on mine. Round, around, around, around. Okay. I am done with Hercules. Let me see really quick in my book while you guys catch up. I'm going to see if I can find a picture of Hercules in the book. I bet I can. He's a pretty famous constellation too. Let's see. I'm going to look in the table of contents at the beginning of the book and see if I can see something. Moon. Hercules. Ha-ha. I'm going to turn to page 72. See if we can find Hercules. Oh, it was the very next page. All right. Here is a picture in the storybook of Hercules. And then here is my Hercules star viewer with my toilet paper. All right, should we check to see if we can see the stars through it? So for the camera use, let me bring you back up a little bit. So for camera use, I'm going to turn it around like the camera is your eyeball, okay? One thing I found that is helpful is kind of go in a darker room and then with one light source and then look at it. All right, so I'm going to turn it around. Oh, you guys can actually see it a little bit and you can see it even better, hopefully. Yep, you can see it even better with a flashlight. So I added a light source so you can see Hercules there on my, on my toilet paper tube constellation viewer. So now I have made 2. I made Hercules and Ursa Major, which was the big bear. I hope you guys remember the story of Ursa Major and Ursa Minor. So we read the Greek story and the story from the Philippines. I hope you guys enjoyed this story time and craft with Program Ranger Shea. It has been brought to you by Hercules and Orion. Yep. Was it Hercules and Orion? It probably was, and I wasn't paying attention. Brought to you by Tech Lab Camp. So I'm going to do a little plug here. Can you see my awesome crab hat? So this summer, Tech Lab Camp is happening. Go on to this Facebook page or techlab.camp and check out our amazing summer camp we're going to be having 2 weeks in June and 2 weeks in July. Keep an eye out. We will also be having some other fun summertime adventures and activities being put on by Tech Lab Camp. But our big thing this summer is our Tech Lab Camp, and I hope you guys join me, and we'll see. Oh, good. That's what you're making. I hope I will see you guys at Tech Lab Camp this summer or other activities during the summer. And you can do it from anywhere, all across the whole world. It'll be a lot of fun. We're going to be going under the ocean, hence my crab hat. I have some other fun things up my sleeve for Tech Lab Camp, so I hope to see you there and can have some fun with you this summer. Thanks, everybody. All right, bye-bye.